20 underrated masterpiece games you need to give a chance. 9 Souls. Alright, 9 Souls is one of those games that doesn't get enough love, and honestly that's a crime. It's this 2D action platformer that mixes a samurai aesthetic with cyberpunk vibes, and it totally nails both. The combat is all about timing, parries, dodges, and quick attacks. It feels super responsive, and when you get into the rhythm, it's ridiculously fun. Think Sekiro, but in 2D. The world is where this game really shines though. It's hand-drawn and every area is packed with these stunning details. The art is inspired by Asian mythology, but it's mixed with futuristic tech, giving it this really unique vibe. You're exploring these ancient ruins and uncovering a story about gods, lost technology, and revenge. The whole thing feels mysterious and a little eerie, but in the best way. The story pulls you in with questions about faith, power, and what happens when gods start messing with tech they probably shouldn't. It's deep but not overwhelming, and the game keeps giving you just enough breadcrumbs to keep you hooked. Plus the boss fights, they're brutal, but in that I'll get it next time kind of way. If you're into games like Hollow Knight or Katana Zero, this is an easy recommendation. It's got the tight gameplay, a killer world, and a story that keeps you thinking long after you've finished. Seriously, don't skip this one, it's a masterpiece waiting to be discovered. Another crab's treasure. Okay, so Another Crab's Treasure is one of those games that just puts a huge smile on your face even when it's kicking your butt. It's a Souls-like game, but wait, hear me out. This one's not all dark and brooding, it's colorful, funny, and totally unexpected. You play as a crab, yes. A crab trying to reclaim your stolen shell in this underwater world full of crazy enemies and clever humor.
I also wanted to mention the crazy murderous crabs outside trying to...
What makes it stand out is how approachable it feels for a Souls-like. Sure, it's still challenging. You're dodging attacks, parrying, and trying not to get smacked by some oversized sea creature, but it's not punishing in that throw your controller way. Plus, the whole concept of using trash as your armor, hilarious and oddly brilliant. One minute you're rocking a soda can, the next you're in a teapot. It's the kind of goofy creativity that makes you want to explore every corner. The underwater setting is stunning too. The game just bursts with color, and the environments feel alive with little details. It's got that fun Saturday morning cartoon vibe, but layered with solid gameplay that keeps you on your toes. The humor is on point as well, like the game knows it's silly and leans into it in the best way. If you've been curious about Souls-like games but don't want to dive into something super hardcore like Dark Souls, this is the perfect starting point. Or if you just want to play as a scrappy little crab fighting for its life in trash armor, you're gonna love it. Honestly, it's just a blast, don't sleep on this one. Hinterberg. Hinterberg is one of those games that feels like a breath of fresh air. It's set in a dreamy Alps-inspired town where you play as a girl on sabbatical. But it's not just a relaxing getaway, you're solving ancient mysteries, diving into magical dungeons, and fighting off monsters. It's got this perfect mix of action, puzzles, and downtime that makes it super easy to get hooked. The dungeons are where the real action happens. You're switching between slashing enemies and solving puzzles that are just tricky enough to keep you thinking without making you rage quit. The combat is smooth and satisfying with cool abilities and weapons that make each fight feel unique. And the puzzles? They're not just filler, they're actually fun with creative mechanics that tie into the world's magical vibe. But honestly, what sets Hinterberg apart is the town. It's not just a hub, it's alive. You're meeting quirky locals, building relationships, and learning their stories. Every character feels like they have a purpose, and the social sim aspect adds a personal touch that makes the game feel cozy and real. It's like you're part of the community, not just a visitor. Visually, the game is stunning. The art style is bright, colorful, and modern with just enough fantasy flair to make it magical. Every scene looks like it could be a postcard. And the soundtrack? It's chill, calming, and fits perfectly with both the adventure and the quiet moments in town. It's one of those games where you can't help but stop and take in the atmosphere. If you're into games like Zelda for the exploration and combat, or Stardew Valley for the cozy social vibes, Hinterberg is a no-brainer. It's got this great balance of adventure and heart, and it's one of those games you'll keep thinking about long after you finish it. Don't skip it, this one's a gem. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Man, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is such a cool revival for the series. You're playing as Sargon, a badass new hero, running, jumping, and slicing your way through this gorgeous mythological world. It's got that classic Prince of Persia platforming, wall running, climbing, and crazy flips, but everything feels faster and more fluid. It's like the old games, but they crank the energy up. The combat is where it really shines. You've got flashy moves, cool abilities, and fights that make you think a little without getting too frustrating. And those boss battles, so good. They're big, intense, and feel like a proper challenge, but you always want to keep going. Plus, the game throws in some Metroidvania vibes, so you're unlocking new areas, finding secrets, and getting stronger as you go. It keeps things interesting the whole time. The art style is a big shift. It's bright, colorful, and just full of life. It's not that old, gritty Prince of Persia look, but it works so well here. It feels modern without losing the magic. Add in a killer soundtrack that keeps you hyped, and it all comes together perfectly. If you've ever loved Prince of Persia, this one will feel like coming home. If you haven't, it's a great place to start. It's fun, fast, and packed with moments that'll make you grin. Don't sleep on it. It's proof this series still knows how to bring it.
I will fulfill my destiny and save the kingdom.
Thank goodness you're here. Unique name, right? Well, this game is pure chaos in the best way possible. Thank goodness you're here. Throws you into this bizarre little British town where everything feels like a fever dream come to life. It's a comedy adventure game, and honestly, it's just so weird and charming that you can't help but love it. You play as this traveling salesman who ends up in the town, and from there, it's just non-stop quirky interactions with the locals. Every character is hilariously odd, and the writing leans heavily into absurd humor. It's the kind of game where you're constantly asking what the hell is going on, but you're laughing the entire time. The art style is wild too. It's got this hand-drawn, almost sketchbook vibe that makes the whole thing feel like a cartoon come to life. The animations are exaggerated in the funniest ways, which only adds to the game's ridiculous charm. The sound design is just as goofy, with over-the-top voices and sound effects that match the humor perfectly. It's not a game you play for deep mechanics or epic battles. This is all about soaking in the absurdity and having a blast. You're solving light puzzles, running around town, and just enjoying how ridiculous everything is. It's like a playable Monty Python sketch, and if you're into offbeat humor, you're gonna love it.
I've been sucking this pipe all morning, and then I realized...
This isn't your typical game, but that's what makes it special. It's silly, it's clever, and it's just fun in a way that more games should be. If you want something completely different and don't mind laughing at how ridiculous it all gets, give this one a shot. Paper Trail. Paper Trail is such a clever little game. It's a puzzle adventure where the whole world is made of paper, and you literally fold and manipulate the environment to solve puzzles. Yeah, you're folding the map like a piece of origami to make paths, connect areas, or reveal hidden secrets. It sounds simple, but it's one of those games where the mechanics feel fresh and creative the whole way through. You play as Paige, a student heading out into the world for the first time, and the story has this cozy, heartfelt vibe. It's not just about solving puzzles, it's about Paige's journey, meeting quirky characters, and exploring this charming paper world. The writing is sweet, and doesn't try too hard. It feels genuine, like a warm little storybook. Visually, the game nails it. The hand-drawn art style looks like it jumped straight out of an illustration, and the folding mechanic isn't just fun, it's beautiful to watch in action. Every fold reveals something new, and it's super satisfying to see the world come together like a pop-up book. The puzzles themselves strike a great balance. They make you think, but they're not so hard that you feel stuck forever. When you figure something out, it's that perfect aha moment. It's chill and engaging at the same time. If you're into games like Unpacking or Monument Valley, Paper Trail has that same kind of relaxing, thoughtful energy. It's a game that feels as much like an experience as it does a puzzle challenge. Definitely worth checking out. It's simple, charming, and super satisfying. Banishers Ghosts of New Eden. Banishers Ghosts of New Eden is a game that hits hard with both its story and gameplay. It's an emotional action RPG where you play as Red and Auntie, two lovers who also happen to be ghost hunters. The twist? Auntie is a ghost herself stuck between life and death, and the game is all about navigating this tragic situation while battling supernatural forces. It's heavy on the feels but never overbearing. The gameplay mixes action and strategy. Red brings the physical combat with swords and weapons that feel weighty and satisfying, while Auntie uses her ghostly powers to manipulate the battlefield. The way the two work together is seamless, and it makes the fights feel dynamic and fresh. There's also a lot of choice baked into the game. You're deciding the fate of the ghosts you banish, and those decisions ripple through the story in meaningful ways. What really grabbed me was the world. It's haunting and beautiful with this rugged frontier vibe that's full of mystery and danger. The art and lighting give it a moody atmosphere without feeling overly dark, and it all ties into the game's emotional themes. Every location feels like it has a story to tell. The narrative is the real heart here. It's not just about chasing ghosts, it's about love loss and the lengths you'll go to for the people you care about. The writing is sharp, the characters feel real, and the choices you make will stick with you. It's not just a game, it's an experience. If you're into story-driven games like The Witcher 3 or Life is Strange, this one's right up your alley. It's got action, emotion, and a world that pulls you in. Don't miss it. It's one of those games that stays with you. The Stanley Parable.
Whoa there, cowboy! Stanley began screaming. You've destroyed.
The Stanley Parable isn't just a game, it's a total mind-bender. You play as Stanley, an office worker whose life takes a sharp turn when he realizes no one else is in the building. What starts as a simple walking simulator quickly spirals into a surreal, hilarious, and thought-provoking journey about choice, control, and the very nature of storytelling.
Straight ahead through the large door. Read into the mind.
The narrator is the real star here. His witty, often sarcastic commentary keeps you engaged, but what makes it brilliant is how much the game messes with you. Every choice you make or don't make gets a reaction. Follow his instructions and you'll get one version of the story, go completely off the rails, and the game twists into something unexpected. There's no right path, and that's the point. Visually, it's minimalist, but that's deliberate. The office setting is plain and repetitive, which makes the weirdness of the game's branching paths and hidden secrets stand out even more. You're not here for flashy graphics, you're here to poke around, experiment, and see how far you can push the narrative.
Meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to...
What's wild is how the Stanley Parable keeps surprising you. Just when you think you've seen it all, the game flips the script and throws something completely out of left field. It's funny, clever, and sometimes oddly deep. You'll go from laughing at a ridiculous scenario to questioning your own decision-making in life. If you love games that break the fourth wall or mess with your expectations, this is a must-play. It's short but packed with layers, and every playthrough feels different. Whether you're here for the humor or the existential brain workout, the Stanley Parable delivers something unforgettable.
Job, you did it.
Oh, good Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
Vanquish. Vanquish is pure, unfiltered adrenaline. This third-person shooter from Platinum Games doesn't hold back, it's fast, chaotic, and ridiculously fun. You play as Sam Gideon, a guy in a high-tech battlesuit that lets you zip around the battlefield like a rocket-powered ninja. Forget hiding behind cover, this game is all about speed and aggression. The combat is where Vanquish shines. You've got a sliding boost mechanic that makes every fight feel like a high-stakes action movie. You're dodging bullets, flipping over cover, and taking down enemies in style. The gunplay is tight, and the weapons feel powerful, but it's the way the suit lets you control the chaos that makes it special. You're not just surviving, you're dominating. The game's set in a futuristic world, and it's as over the top as the action. Giant robots, insane explosions, and some truly wild boss fights keep things exciting. It's not trying to be deep, it's just pure sci-fi spectacle, and it nails that vibe perfectly. One thing to note, it's not a long game. You can blast through it in about 5 to 6 hours, but honestly, that's part of the appeal. It's all killer, no filler, and every second is packed with high-octane action. Plus, the replay value is solid if you're into mastering its mechanics or chasing high scores. If you love games that feel like an action movie on steroids, think Bayonetta with guns, this one's a no-brainer. It's fast, it's flashy, and it's just a total blast from start to finish. Don't miss it. Angerfoot. Angerfoot is an absolute riot of a game. It's fast, chaotic, and all about one thing, kicking your way to victory. You're charging through these insane levels, kicking down doors, flooring enemies, and blasting your way to the finish line. It's over the top in all the right ways. The gameplay is pure, unfiltered energy. Every room is a playground of destruction, and your foot, it's the star. Whether you're knocking enemies into walls or chaining together kicks like some sort of martial arts maniac, it's all incredibly satisfying. The movement is fluid, and the pace never lets up. You're constantly on the move, improvising your way through chaos. Visually, it's like a neon explosion, bright colors, wild environments, and everything feels alive with this grungy, rebellious attitude. And let's talk about the soundtrack. The beats hit hard, syncing perfectly with the action, so you feel like you're stomping to your own theme music. The humor is spot on too. It doesn't take itself seriously, and that's the charm. From the way enemies react to getting kicked to the little visual gags scattered around, it's got a ton of personality. Every level feels like it's designed to keep you grinning from start to finish. If you want a game that's ridiculous fun and keeps your adrenaline pumping, Angerfoot is it. It's a short, sharp blast of madness that's impossible to put down. Give it a go, you won't regret it. Outcast: A New Beginning. Outcast: A New Beginning is a sequel that respects its roots while modernizing everything that made the original a cult classic. You step back into the boots of Cutterslade, a no-nonsense, wisecracking soldier tasked with saving the alien world of Adelpha. If you're into open-world exploration and old-school sci-fi vibes, this one's got your name written all over it. The world of Adelpha is the real star here. It's massive, vibrant, and packed with alien cultures and breathtaking landscapes. Every region feels alive, with its own ecosystems, creatures, and people to meet. There's a ton of freedom to explore, and the game rewards your curiosity with hidden secrets, side missions, and stunning views. It's the kind of world that makes you want to slow down and take it all in.
I shall not influence the trial.
Combat is another highlight. Cutter's arsenal is versatile, and the mix of shooting and gadgets makes for some creative encounters. It's not just run and gun you'll need to think on your feet, especially when you're outnumbered or up against tougher foes. The movement feels great too, with jetpacks and other tools that make traversing the world a blast. What stands out most though is the story. It's got heart, humor, and stakes that keep you invested. Cutter's interactions with the alien inhabitants are full of charm, and the narrative dives into themes of responsibility, survival, and the clash of cultures. It's both personal and epic, striking a balance that few games manage. If you love the original Outcast or just want a game that mixes old school adventure with modern polish, A New Beginning is an easy recommendation. It's ambitious, beautiful, and full of personality, a must-play for fans of sci-fi exploration. Trepang 2. Trepang 2 is a straight-up adrenaline rush from start to finish. It's a first-person shooter that feels like a love letter to games like Fear, with fast-paced combat, intense slow-motion gunfights, and a whole lot of carnage. If you've been craving an old-school FPS with a modern edge, this one's got you covered. You play as a mysterious super soldier who's been broken out of a secret facility, and from the second the game starts, it's non-stop action. The combat is where it shines fast, brutal, and ridiculously satisfying. You've got slow-mo abilities that let you pull off insane moves like diving through the air while mowing down enemies or sliding into a room and taking out a whole squad in seconds. It's pure chaos and it never gets old. The weapons feel powerful and the game encourages you to experiment. Whether you're blasting away with shotguns or going full stealth with suppressed weapons, every encounter feels dynamic. The AI is sharp too, so don't expect enemies to just sit there waiting to get shot. They'll flank, ambush, and force you to stay on your toes. Visually, it's gritty and atmospheric, with blood-soaked environments and a heavy dose of tension. The story is mysterious, dropping breadcrumbs about who you are and why everyone seems so desperate to take you down. It's not trying to reinvent the wheel, but it gives enough intrigue to keep you hooked between firefights. If you're into shooters that make you feel like an unstoppable force, Trepang 2 is a must-play. It's fast, violent, and unapologetically fun, a perfect pick for fans of chaotic, high-octane action. Still Wakes the Deep. Still Wakes the Deep is all about tension, atmosphere, and pure dread. You're on an offshore oil rig, isolated in the middle of the sea, and things go horribly wrong. It's a first-person horror game that's more about the creeping fear of the unknown than cheap jump scares. If you love games that get under your skin, this one's going to grab you. The setting is a huge part of what makes this game special. The oil rig is dark, claustrophobic, and full of unsettling noises. Pipes creak, the wind howls, and every shadow feels like it's hiding something. It nails that feeling of being trapped in an environment that's just as dangerous as whatever's stalking you. The visuals and sound design work together to make every moment feel oppressive and eerie. Gameplay-wise, it's about survival and exploration. You're not some overpowered hero, you're just a worker trying to stay alive. You'll be navigating tight corridors, solving environmental puzzles, and doing everything you can to avoid whatever's hunting you. There's no combat here, which only makes things scarier. You're outmatched, and running or hiding is usually your best option. The story unfolds as you explore, and it's gripping without being too in your face. It's all about piecing together what went wrong and figuring out how to escape. The game plays with your expectations, constantly keeping you on edge and making you question what's real. If you liked Soma or Alien Isolation, this has that same kind of nail-biting tension, but in a completely unique setting. It's not for the faint of heart, but if you're up for an unforgettable horror experience, Still Wakes the Deep is one to watch. System Shock Remake. System Shock Remake is a masterclass in updating a classic without losing what made it iconic. It's a complete reimagining of the 1994 original, blending modern visuals and gameplay improvements with the core elements that define the immersive sim genre. Whether you're a longtime fan or diving in for the first time, this game is a treat. You're stuck aboard the Citadel Station, a derelict space station overrun by rogue AI, Shodan, and her army of horrifying creations. The setting is absolutely dripping with atmosphere, dimly lit corridors, ominous sounds, and that constant feeling that something is watching you. It's creepy, but in a way that makes you want to push forward just to see what's around the next corner. The gameplay is a mix of exploration, puzzle solving, and combat. The station is packed with secrets, and every room feels like it has a purpose. Combat is tense and weighty, you're scavenging weapons and ammo, while fighting off robots, mutants, and other twisted creations. But it's not all about shooting, hacking terminals. Upgrading your gear and carefully managing resources are just as important. Shodan herself steals the show. Her voice, her taunts, and the way she manipulates the environment to mess with you make her one of gaming's greatest villains. She's as terrifying and unforgettable as ever, and the remake does her justice. Visually, it's stunning. The remake modernizes the blocky look of the original into something sleek and immersive while keeping that retro-futuristic charm. The soundtrack is equally on point, pulling you into the game's eerie vibe with every note. If you've never played System Shock, this remake is the perfect way to experience one of the most influential games ever made. If you're a fan of the original, you'll love how faithfully it recreates the magic while giving it a fresh coat of paint. Either way, this is a must-play for anyone into sci-fi, horror, or immersive sims.
Welcome back to Citadel.
Nobody Wants to Die.
It's flammable. Someone could have ignited it deliberately.
Man, Nobody Wants to Die really got to me. It's not just a game, it's this deep, intense look at what life would be like if people could live forever. The story takes place in New York City, way in the future, in 2329. People can move their minds into new bodies, which sounds cool, but it's caused all kinds of problems. You play as James Kara, a detective trying to solve some brutal murders in a world that's falling apart. The gameplay is all about being a detective. You don't just walk around and guess. You use this awesome tool called the REM Reconstructor to replay crime scenes and figure out what went down. It feels so immersive, like you're really solving a mystery. It's not about running and gunning, it's about slowing down, thinking, and putting the pieces together. Every clue matters, and when you finally crack something, it feels so satisfying.
Ah, you're finally paying attention.
What blew me away the most was the world. The city is just wow. It's dark, messy, and full of personality. Neon lights, crumbling buildings, and all these little details make it feel alive, even though it's clearly a mess. You can tell this world has a history, and exploring it feels like peeling back layers of a story. Even the sound design is top-notch. Sometimes it's quiet and creepy, other times it's tense and dramatic, keeping you on edge the whole time. The characters are another big part of what makes this game special. Everyone you meet has their own story, and they all feel so real. Some people are broken, some are trying to survive, and others make you question if immortality is even worth it. It's deep without being too complicated, and it really makes you think about what it means to be human. But I'll be honest, this isn't a fast or action-packed game. It takes its time, and the puzzles can be tricky. If you're looking for non-stop action, this might not be for you. But if you love stories and enjoy figuring things out, this game will stick with you. If you like games that make you think, like The Last of Us or This War of Mine, you'll love Nobody Wants to Die. It's emotional, clever, and stays in your head long after you're done playing. It's not just a game, it's an experience you don't want to miss.
Omega Code 112358. Suspected murder.
The Technomancer. The Technomancer is one of those games that flew under the radar, but if you're into sci-fi RPGs, it's worth checking out. Set on Mars, it's got this gritty, dystopian vibe with a mix of cyberpunk tech and post-apocalyptic survival. You play as Zachariah, a rookie Technomancer, basically a warrior with electricity-based powers, and you're caught in the middle of a conflict over water, survival, and shady politics. The gameplay is a mix of action and RPG elements. The combat is solid, giving you 3 different fighting styles to switch between on the fly melee weapons, guns, and hand-to-hand with Technomancer abilities. Those electric powers, they're flashy and fun, making combat feel a bit more unique compared to your standard RPG fare. It's not without its rough edges, some fights can feel a bit clunky, but there's enough variety to keep things interesting. The world building is where the game shines. Mars feels lived in with factions, intrigue, and a history that you slowly uncover as you explore. You've got mutants, rebels, corporations, it's messy and that makes it feel real. The choices you make affect how characters and factions see you, adding some nice layers to the story. And yeah, it can get a little cheesy in the dialogue sometimes, but the story's heart is in the right place. Visually, it's not the flashiest game, but the art style works. The red deserts of Mars and the tech-heavy interiors give it it a unique aesthetic. The soundtrack is atmospheric, fitting the tone of a harsh, survival-focused world. If you can overlook some of its rough spots, the Technomancer has a lot to offer. It's not a AAA blockbuster, but it's got heart, ambition, and some cool ideas that make it worth your time, especially if you're into underdog RPGs. Give it a shot if you're in the mood for something different with a sci-fi twist. Bound by Flame. Bound by Flame is one of those games that might not blow your mind, but it's got a certain charm if you give it a chance. You're playing as Vulcan, a mercenary who ends up possessed by a fire demon while trying to save the world from these undead lords called the Ice Lords. Yeah, it's a bit cheesy, but it leans into it, and that's part of the fun. The combat is a mix of hack and slash action with some RPG depth. You've got different fighting styles like two-handed weapons for heavy hits or daggers for quick, sneaky attacks. Then there's your demon powers, which let you burn enemies to a crisp with fire magic. It's not perfect, the combat can feel stiff at times, but when you're on a roll, it's pretty satisfying. The story isn't groundbreaking, but it's got some decent twists. The demon inside you isn't just for show, it actually affects your decisions. Do you give in to its power for more strength, or fight to keep your humanity? It's a simple system, but it's cool seeing how your choices shape the character and the story. Visually, it's a mixed bag. Some areas look great with moody lighting and cool enemy designs, but others feel a little plain. The voice acting, well, let's just say it's hit or miss. But honestly, if you don't take it too seriously, it kind of works with the game's tone. This isn't a big budget RPG, but it's got heart. If you're into games like Dragon's Dogma or The Witcher and don't mind some jank, Bound by Flame can scratch that action RPG itch. It's not perfect, but it's got enough personality and solid moments to make it worth a look. Blacktail. Blacktail is a beautifully dark and unique take on the Baba Yaga legend. You play as Yaga, a young girl accused of witchcraft and cast out of her village. The game is all about choices. Will you embrace the darkness and become the witch of folklore, or take a more righteous path? Either way, it's a wild ride through a magical, mysterious world. The gameplay is a mix of first-person archery, exploration, and decision-making. The bow feels fantastic to use with tight controls and plenty of upgrades to keep combat fresh. You'll also craft potions, solve puzzles, and hunt for resources to survive. What's really cool is how your choices shape the game. Do you help spirits and creatures in the woods, or lean into chaos and fear? Your morality affects not just the story, but how the world reacts to you.
Not bad.
The world itself is stunning. It's not your typical dark forest, it's alive with strange, surreal beauty. Think glowing mushrooms, enchanted clearings, and bizarre creatures lurking in the shadows. The art style mixes fairy tale whimsy with unsettling undertones, and it totally pulls you in. The soundtrack and sound design are just as strong, adding layers to the atmosphere. The story digs deep into Slavic folklore, but it doesn't feel like a history lesson. It's personal, focusing on Yaga's journey and the blurred lines between good and evil. The characters you meet are quirky, creepy, or both, and the writing has a nice balance of humor and darkness. If you're into games like Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice or The Pathless, Blacktail is worth a look. It's a fresh, immersive adventure that blends folklore, action, and storytelling into something that feels truly unique. Definitely one to keep on your radar.
You killed again.
Boss Judgment. Lost Judgment is one of those sequels that takes everything good about the first game and makes it even better. You're back as Takayuki Yagami, the smooth detective who can throw hands like a pro, and this time you're wrapped up in a much darker case. It dives into heavy stuff, bullying, suicide, corruption, but it handles it in a way that feels grounded and gripping. It's intense, but the story keeps pulling you in with all its twists and emotional punches. The combat, man, it's so satisfying. You've got 3 styles to switch between: quick, heavy, and technical, and mixing them up mid-fight is a blast. Whether you're taking on street thugs or big boss battles, every fight feels dynamic. Plus they added parkour. It's not groundbreaking, but it's fun and adds a new layer to chasing down suspects or exploring. But what really makes this game shine is the world. Yokohama feels alive, with so much to do. The side cases are where the game lets Lucio go from solving serious mysteries to getting roped into absolutely ridiculous situations, and somehow it all works. Then there's the school stories. They're a huge highlight, letting you infiltrate a high school and help students with everything from robotics to dance battles. It's goofy, heartfelt, and breaks up the heavier main story perfectly. The game also looks incredible. The cities are packed with detail, the character animations are on point, and the cutscenes are just chef's kiss. And the music, it knows exactly when to hit hard or just let you vibe while exploring. If you liked the Yakuza games, Lost Judgment is an easy pick. It's got a killer story, tight combat, and so much personality. Whether you're punching bad guys or grooving in a dance-off, it's just a great time all around. Silent Hill 2 Remake. Silent Hill 2 Remake takes one of the most iconic horror games ever and breathes new life into it. You're back in the foggy, eerie streets of Silent Hill as James Sunderland, searching for your wife after receiving a letter from her. Even though she's been dead for years, the story is still as haunting and emotional as ever, but now it's paired with stunning visuals and updated gameplay that make it feel fresh without losing its soul. The first thing you'll notice is how incredible the game looks. The foggy streets, the dimly lit interiors, the monster designs, it's all brought to life with modern. The atmosphere is just suffocating in the best way, pulling you into the unsettling world of Silent Hill. Every shadow, every sound feels like it's out to mess with your head. And Pyramid Head, yeah, he's just as terrifying, maybe even more so now. The gameplay's been revamped to feel smoother and more modern while still keeping that tense survival horror vibe. The clunky tank controls are gone, but the combat and exploration retain the weight and dread that make every encounter feel meaningful. You're not some unstoppable fighter, you're vulnerable, and every bullet or health item feels precious. The sound design is off the charts. Akira Yamaoka's music is back, and it's as spine-chilling as you remember. The environmental sounds, creaking doors, distant footsteps, unsettling whispers add so much to the tension. You'll feel like something's breathing down your neck even when nothing's there. What really sticks though is the story. James's journey is as emotionally devastating as ever, and the updated visuals and performances make it hit even harder. The way it explores guilt, loss, and denial is unmatched, and it's still one of the best examples of psychological storytelling in gaming. If you loved the original or you're just into horror games, Silent Hill 2 Remake is a must-play. It's faithful to what made the original great while giving it a modern polish that makes it just as impactful today. Be ready, it'll mess with your head and you'll love every second of it. Slay the Princess.
No. What are you talking about?
When I played Slay the Princess, I didn't know what to expect. The setup felt simple. You're told to kill a princess locked in a cabin. But within minutes, it became clear the game wasn't what it seemed. Every choice I made changed the story in ways I didn't expect. It made me question the narrator, the princess, and even my own decisions. The writing stood out to me the most. It's sharp and has this way of pulling you in without over-explaining. The princess was fascinating. Sometimes she felt like a threat, other times like someone who just wanted help. The tension kept me hooked, and I couldn't help but laugh at some of the darker humor sprinkled throughout.
Infuriatingly rigid hands.
I'll try to make it quick.
The game's art is simple but effective. The hand-drawn style fit the surreal vibe, and it shifted in ways that matched the tone of the story. The music wasn't overwhelming, but it added to the mood and helped build that uneasy feeling. What I liked most was how personal it felt. The game doesn't tell you how to feel about what you're doing, it lets you decide. By the end, I was still thinking about the choices I made and wondering what would have happened if I'd chosen differently. If you like games that make you think and aren't afraid to mess with your expectations, this one's worth your time. It's not flashy or loud, but it knows exactly what it's doing, and I had a great time figuring it out.
You're mine.